Bill Randall, 650. Dorothy S. Ma'am, the Axelwide and Peppermint Endurance Company in Bashful Johnny C., home of the grand old conglomeration, Fanny Hill University, and the bathtub of the South. It's 730.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, every possible age. Welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, always spelled with a K, but now I'm broadcasting from an actual free state in North Idaho. I am this guy. I am your conservative Sherpa, guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Please note that what I'm going to talk to you about tonight, what I'll discuss, consists pretty much of my opinion and my opinion only. I have no guests tonight. It's just me, except you, if you wish to call in a little bit later. You'll see the little thing down at the bottom. It'll look like this. It'll say, hey, folks, kids, the phone lines are open. Call on in. So what am I doing here? Basically, I'm doing the job the American media maggots won't. I'm fundamentally changing America one leftist diaper at a time. And of course, we don't water our drinks, just like we don't water our conversations. We are still serving stiff drinks in the saloon, along with facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, and common sense for actual normal people like you and me, which is why you are listening here tonight. Politics, religion. Oh, politics. I'll tell you about that. Politics, religion. Oh, did I mention religion? We'll be talking about that too. Crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We do, in fact, talk about it all here, right here in the saloon, where the speech is free, but the booze is not. I'm streaming live right now on Rumble, on X, on Twitch, on KLRN, on Facebook, and the SHR Media YouTube channel. It is currently the 23rd day of January, the year of our Lord 2025, and it's just me in the saloon tonight. So thank you for being here. It's an interesting show. It'll be a very good show. Essentially what occurred is this. Oh, I should tell you, this is my tribute show to this happening. This doesn't have a... There's no sound. All I'm saying is just enjoy it. You want to see it again? There. You saw it again. How about one more time? There. You saw it again. Now, some people would say, BZ, that seems to be disrespectful. You know what's disrespectful? Deciding that you're going to screw over the rest of the United States and all the people that are there, when, in fact, you could have stayed retired, and you decided not to stay retired. So, you know what? That's on you. Let me pot this down a little bit, because we've seen this before. We've heard this before. Let's hear it again now.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. Jackson for the
What a great
inaugural
honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald.
I'm so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
We will face challenges.
There's so much potential
But we will get the job done.
for beauty and for
Every 4
devastation.
years we get
Beauty. There was potential for beauty. And apparently Hillary Clinton was it. But if it was good enough to play in 2016, it was certainly good enough to play in 2025. That's the way it rocks. That's the way it rolls. Here's how it rolls. Take the alligator. Baby. This is fabulous. This is the show where we're going to talk about DJT number 47. I think it's wonderful. Mostly, this show will consist of primarily happy stories. Here's another happy story. Oh no, happy for me, but maybe not happy for a federal employee.
So I'm hearing that they're gonna make us start coming to work, like going into work, like leaving home and going in. Like I'm gonna have to get dressed and drive there. And I'm gonna have to deal with traffic. I mean, the stress that this is gonna cause me.
Sad.
I'm not gonna be able to watch The View when it comes on. I'm gonna have to wait till I get home after work and watch it. And lunch. Do I have to pack a lunch now? I mean, come on. I may just quit. I think that's gonna be the only option. Is just to quit.
Hey, she may be onto something. Oh, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You know what is also wonderful? I decided I wasn't feeling super last Tuesday. And I should have done this show last Tuesday because it was obviously much closer to all the good stuff happening. But I decided I can't not do this show. I must do this show. One of the reasons that I wanted to do it is to archive for everybody, for myself as well, and to be used as a reference in the future. I mean, we're going to talk about tons of happy stories and still some of the silly, stupid, and fattening things that are occurring post-inauguration. We're going to be listening to the sworn in. We're going to listen to Donald Trump being sworn in. We're going to listen to his inauguration speech. There'll be a break at the bottom of the hour, probably after the bottom of the hour, unless I interrupt the inauguration speech in the middle. And essentially after the inauguration speech, if you guys want to call in, please do so. Call in. The number will be, and when I'm ready, the number will be on the little green ticker as below, 916-835-3329, 916-835-3329. And who am I? I am BZ. I am your conservative Sherpa. And so let's watch Donald John Trump being sworn in, all of about 50 seconds.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. John Roberts, Chief Justice of SCOTUS. One of the reasons I bring this to you tonight is because I want you to understand, you, me, all of us, we deserve kudos for this. There should be, as Barack Hussein Obama said, elections have consequences. And screwing over the United States of America has consequences. You and I fought long and hard to be able to get Donald John Trump into office. It wasn't just an easy thing. And I think it's about time that we take some credit for ourselves. We showed up. We did the hard work. A lot of people went out and canvassed. We played more along the lines of the Democrat game than they were prepared for. They thought they had everything in the bag. The American media maggots thought they had everything in the bag. And as it turns out, they sure as hell didn't. Now listen to this. It's one of the shortest inauguration speeches on record. But to me, it's one of the most important. 45, 47, go.
Thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens.
I should point something out to you. Here's J.D. Vance. This is Donald Trump's son, who is 6'8", Barron. Here's Biden. Here's Harris. Here's Doug Emhoff, her husband, Bill Clinton with his mouth open, and Hillary Clinton. These people right here will be soon slapped resoundingly in their face. No religion attached at all. We'll get to that because I'm going to weigh in on religion kind of around the top of the hour, I suspect. Let's continue.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
This is what we got the first time. This is definitely what we wanted the second time. America second doesn't work, and it doesn't keep us strong or the rest of the planet.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America.
Let me make an observation, if I might, and I'm sure you've noticed it too. Post-mortality shot in June of last year, Donald John Trump has been a lot more cool and collected in how he handles the press, how he handles things around him, his surroundings. He is much more centered than he was in 2016, 2017.
Will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world. And America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face.
True.
While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly
by FEMA, or the lack thereof.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we are watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
Baby.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over.
We better believe it.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
You know what? I think he believes it. I believe it.
Thank you very much.
Something like that makes you humble and driven.
That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
Bingo.
It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people.
5+ million.
To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
Enjoy
National
the
unity
moments.
is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that.
Absolutely.
Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
Take control of our country. It belongs to
All
us.
illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
Better and better.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
Hell yes.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be
Folks, were you aware that at one point we were the #1 exporter of refined fuel on the planet?
rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
Let's stop right there. Let's take a break in any number of ways and be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? Coming in November to SHR Media. By way of Big E Jackson, you need to check out Mission Ready Men. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man, as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson, coming this November on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. I am back. Baby's got back. Everybody's got back. I am BZ. I am in the saloon. You are too. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm playing the full inaugural address so that we can both bathe in its gloriosity simultaneously. It was a long, hard road, difficult road, but we got there and we may as well enjoy it while we're here. Because I'm here to tell you, have I got wonderful, super stories, happy stories all across the fruited plain. And we're finally managing to stop this country from burning. Sadly, in some instances, to death. And it was frequently, again, sadly, self-immolation. It was self-inflicted by Joe Biden, Joe Vegetable, and that regime. Let us continue.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Democrats not happy about that. No bueno.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about.
Yes.
We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
You know, because there are.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
Hell yes.
And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately.
Thank you.
Our armed forces will be free to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
I'll make it simpler. Kill people and break shit. And if you're not willing to do that, you do not apply. Our beloved American soldiers.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Thank you.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
And that's because of Trump, not Biden. Oh, look, they're getting up. Do you know why? Because the Democrats getting up think it's Biden.
America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
And
we will restore
awesome.
the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
And where it was.
President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made, and Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
On both ends. China controls essentially both ends of the Panama Canal, which they could stop upon a moment's notice from Xi Jinping. This is untenable. This is unwinnable. You cannot live and exist in a world situation like this.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together, we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Goals. We have actual goals now.
Ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation. And right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
And with that, we need to bask in the moment. That's what I'm here to do tonight with you. So let's talk about this.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
So here's a happy story. Oddly enough, we happen to have a ton of happy stories just for you tonight. I have to tell you, it's all about winning. So let's talk about some winning at the very beginning. This is a story from Reuters. Samsung and LG may move some home appliance manufacturing from Mexico to the U.S., the paper says. Samsung's Electronics and LG Electronics are considering moving some manufacturing of home appliances from their Mexican plants to their U.S. plants, a South Korean newspaper reported on Tuesday. And of course, you can be guaranteed that would never have happened under Joe Biden, the weasel. Then here's another wonderful story. Now, I'm a little hesitant on this. I'm taking a bit of a wait and see attitude on this. Trump ordered the release of the files on JFK, RFK, and MLK, two of which happened in 1968 and the JFK assassination in 1963. Obviously, I'm old enough to remember all of these things. I was around at the time. So Thursday, Trump ordered today. Well, let's see. Yeah, it's still Thursday on the East Coast. By the way, it is 8:48 Pacific. It is 10:48 Central and 11:48 Eastern. I would love to see all of these files released, obviously. Everything will be revealed, said Trump, 78, in the Oval Office as he signed an executive order mandating the disclosure. If that comes out, if that turns out to be true, I will be one of the first people to reveal the contents of that to you. But let's not stop there, okay? Let's do the right thing, the proper thing, and I don't care who gets in the way. Release the Epstein list. Don't stop at RFK, MLK, JFK. Don't stop there. Go further. Release that list. Now, all of these things have sort of definite consequences that you're going to hear about later in all of these happy stories. And Trump rubs off on a lot of people. Well, here's a wonderful happy story. Argentina's Javier Milei says gender ideology, and he says this in front of the World Economic Forum at Davos. He takes his hand and his speech and he slams it upside the head of all the globalists at Davos. That's why this is great.
Promueve la agenda LGBT queriendo imponernos que las mujeres son hombres y los hombres son mujeres solo si así se autoperciben. Y nada dicen de cuando un hombre se disfraza de mujer y mata a su rival en un ring de boxeo, o cuando un preso alega ser mujer y termina violando a cuanta mujer se le cruce por delante en la...
I forgot for the people that are just listening on radio, audio only. Damn it, Jim, wake up, BZ. I should have been telling you what he said. His last was a woman who crosses his path in prison.
Sin ir más lejos,
without going any further, a few weeks ago, the case of two American homosexuals who, flying the flag of sexual diversity and were sentenced to 100 years in prison for abusing and filming their adopted children for more than 2 years, made headlines around the world. I want to be clear that when I say abuse, it is not a euphemism, because in its most extreme versions, the gender ideology constitutes a plain and simple child abuse. They are pedophiles. Therefore, I want to know who endorses these behaviors, as do we all. But the Trump effect is legion. It's going everywhere, including here. Now, here's a story, a happy story about CNN. Oh, shoot. I said I would do this. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's start this right now. If anybody wants to call in, there's the number down at the bottom. If you're listening audio only, the number is 916-835-3329. 916-835-3329. I'll leave that down below. For those of you who are watching, this is a happy story. CNN plans to lay off hundreds of employees, cut costs. NBC plots firings. CNN boss Mark Thompson reportedly plans to announce mass firings Thursday. Today, just days after he warned top on-air talent, including Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, that they ought to avoid prejudging President Trump. The ratings-challenged cable news pioneer will lay off hundreds of employees as it refocuses the business around a global digital audience, citing people familiar with the matter. That's CNN. CNN, by the way, has been encountering its worst ratings almost in its entire history from the moment it began to start up. Here's another happy story. The Justice Department directs prosecutors to investigate local efforts to obstruct immigration enforcement. So if there are local efforts to stop ICE, etc., from enforcing laws, then the DOJ is going to begin investigating those things. On my phone, over here, ICE has said that they would much rather just deal with incarceration, with detainees who are already in the jails, who may already be in the prisons, just make it really simple and go there. But no, there are numerous people all throughout the states that have said, we're simply not going to cooperate. Las Vegas Metro was one of the most recent to say, no, we are simply not going to cooperate on this at all. So what's going to happen is all the places that they didn't want ICE to be, that's where ICE is going to be. And I see I have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
BZ, how are you doing, my conservative brother? This is Nate Rudd.
Nate, welcome to you. Folks, if you don't know who Nate Rudd is, and I understand that, we had him on the show last year with Alan Thomas. I need to get Alan Thomas back. Nate Rudd is a Sasquatch and investigator and researcher, similar to Alan Thomas, who has had his own encounters with Sasquatch and is a wonderful conservative brother. So, Nate Rudd, welcome. And any comments, thoughts, anything of that nature, sir?
Yes, sir. So I just called to say high and to revel and celebrate this incredible week that we've had. I mean, can you believe this? We are 3 days in from the 47th President, Donald Trump, inauguration. And I have a question for you, BZ. Are you tired of winning yet?
Well, oddly enough, the show is entitled Winning Like Never Before, and I have not really even touched the great winning stories. Now, of course, later on, I'm going to tell people about pushback, and I'm going to have some pushback myself on a certain Episcopalian bishop. That will be roughly at the top of the hour following the break. But I want to regale everyone with the tales. Look, we are winning. And the other thing that, Nate, you and I both know, we paid a hefty price to get here. We faced 4 years of oppression, repression, censorship, and found it within ourselves and increased the base of people who became conservatives when they watched Democrats, leftists, and globalists decide that they were simply going to kill common sense. And a nation cannot remain sovereign or safe or secure under circumstances like these. This country had been run quite clearly by people, in my opinion, who despised the United States of America. East Palestine is not recovered. DC didn't care about that. Hurricane Helene victims have not recovered. FEMA and the DC elite under Biden, they didn't care about that. There are people, there are bodies that are buried under feet of mud that now you can't get to because it was first hot and wet. And now these people are frozen. The ground is frozen. It's snowing. And who knows if you'll ever be able to extricate all of the loved ones that have been killed by Hurricane Helene. Thanks, no thanks to the federal government, who decided to put East Palestine, you're done. Victims of Hurricane Helene, you're done. And now we're focusing on the people about Los Angeles. Well, the reason that you're focusing on the people of Los Angeles is because not all, most of them had money, big money. They were celebrities. There were people with large dollars who also were large dollar donators to the Democrat Party under Gavin Newsom. That enclave down in Southern California is jam-packed with those individuals. I'm sorry for what happened to them, but if that had to happen for people to realize that Democrats are not your friends, leftists are not your friends, they have no common sense, and they primarily despise actual Americans. Nate Rudd, can you think of any other reason that would occur? I mean, it's philosophy liberalis. You will march lockstep in philosophy.
Exactly, BZ. Wow, I couldn't have said it better myself. You nailed it right there. What people need to realize is we're dealing with evil people. The Democrat Party, that whole party has been hijacked. I just heard a bell, but that party has been hijacked by communists. We have to call them out for what they are. They are communists, and they want to destroy our country. And I'll tell you what, I want all your listeners and I want all our conservative brothers to just enjoy this. We earned this. We earned this win. We fought hard. And I am beyond the moon excited about the next 4 years and the future of our country. I volunteered to be a Trump delegate. I'd never been involved. I've been involved verbally, and I've tried to speak out, to people about all of this, but I got involved. I was a Trump delegate, went to the state convention. I learned a lot, and I would just encourage people to get involved as much as they can. And sometimes you feel helpless. This last 4 years, all the mandates, all of the censorship, everything. I'm tired of it. I have no patience for communists, BZ. I'm done. And you know what? I don't want to say we're going to get revenge. We're going to get justice, and we're going to get there's going to be consequences for everything that's happened. And I'm so excited about the future.
Thank you, Nate Rudd. I greatly appreciate it. Any other comments, sir?
No, sir. I just wanted to call in and say hi and support your show. And what a great show. And what a great speech from Trump, the inaugural speech. Wow.
It
couldn't have been better.
No, absolutely. And that's why I say, Nate, thanks for calling.
Yes, absolutely. We will talk soon, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bask in the moment. The moment is now. The moment is here. I want this show to exist as an immuration of what it was to experience winning like never before. I'm going to make one mention. We're going to come back right after the show. We're going to take a break in about 30, 35 seconds or so. So if you need to use the electric winkle chamber, whatever, get a drink. Now's the time to do it. When I come back, I'm going to be giving you my opinion on the sermon given by an Episcopalian bishop, which I believe was on Wednesday, yesterday, or Tuesday, one of the two. And for those, some of you will not enjoy what I have to say, but it has to be said. And I'm not going to hold anything back. And that's why you're here. God bless you all. Thanks for being here and watching tonight. Take a break. I'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Join me right here on the SHR Media Network every Monday and Friday, 12 on the Pacific, 3 on the East Coast. On this show, we'll discuss news, politics, the government, how cranky we are about the government, and more. If you want to hear hard talk, good interviews, sarcasm, bad jokes, and, oh, God, that really is me in a nutshell. Either way, check me out right here on the Edge of Liberty every Monday and Friday, 12 Pacific, 3 on the East, on the SHR Media Network.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? And check out 7 Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with 7 Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com. 7armors.com. Faithful, vigilant, steadfast, passion.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm BZ. And our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room is waiting for you. I'm in the process of bringing it back so that it looks like this. The people didn't care for that chat room, so this is coming back. Thanks for watching and listening live and direct on Rumble, X, the SHR Media YouTube channel, and the Stentorian KLRN. We'll be back with happy stories, but I wanted to make sure that I get this in. I have some comments And I decided initially, just let it pass, BZ. Let it pass. Let it move on. You don't need to do this. Until I finally decided, no, as a matter of fact, screw it. Yeah, I need to do this. So if you remember on Tuesday, Episcopalian Bishop Marianne Edgar Budde, or Budde, provided a sermon at the National Prayer Service for the President of the United States and all the people that were there. This is what happened when she appeared on The View.
Thank you. So let me ask you this. You seem to have more fearlessness than anyone in Congress right now, ma'am. What made you decide to use that opportunity for this message, or didn't you have any apprehension about it?
Of course not.
My response, thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be with you today. My responsibility that morning, yesterday morning, was to reflect, to pray with the nation for unity. And as I was pondering what are the foundations of unity, I wanted to emphasize respecting the honor and dignity of every human being, basic honesty and humility. And then I also realized that that unity requires a certain degree of mercy and compassion and understanding. And so knowing that a lot of people, as I said, in our country right now are really scared, I wanted to take the opportunity in the context of that service for unity to say we need to treat everyone with dignity. And we need to be merciful. I was trying to counter the narrative that is so divisive and polarizing, and in which real people are being harmed.
Okay. Bishop, I was struck by your tone. You were so gentle. You were so respectful. You were very demure and very mindful. And you said all of...
Okay, stop. She was demure. She was respectful. And I was warned by a couple of people, don't go here. But it's my show, so I get to go here. So this is my response. I have to ask, is it a good look? Because people were worried about, is it a good look to even respond to what she said? Is it a good look to lecture a president to his face from on high? Because you literally have a temporary bully pulpit. So Episcopalian Bishop Budde, or Budde, felt empowered to judge him directly, knowing full well no reprisal, no response, no rejoinder would occur at that time. Not one word in return. And selected that opportunity to be pedantic and jejune, not unifying, divisive. She made it all about her and not about the moment. She made it clear that she was a political reactionary first and a religious functionary last. Religion is being gamed by certain personnel to block themselves from criticism when, in my world, they're the first, some of the first to place themselves in the hypocritical column in a shoddy attempt to remain aloof and inviolate, shielded behind a church or a panel of wood, as she was. She's cloaking and protecting behaviors behind the cape of alleged compassion, trying to wag this big cosmic holy finger at those she judges unworthy. Her. It's all about her. Who is placing children in danger? Is it the horrible mega Neanderthals? Or is it the parents, the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals? the medical organizations, advocating not just for the mental, chemical, and physical butchery of children, but the killing of life before birth. That's what she stands for. So just because you wear certain clothes, certain vestments, step into certain buildings, read certain books, say that you're spiritual, doesn't make you holy. It doesn't make you learned. It doesn't make you worthy of respect or even a good person. Greg Gutfeld said, you know what? Satan isn't going to show up in red tights holding a pitchfork. Satan is going to show up like Bishop Marion Edgar Budde, an exploiter of alleged compassion, an imposter. Folks, she is wearing Satan's logo behind the branding of the forces of God. It's the reverse. How many times have you been told? I certainly have. People say, you know, you got to respect the rank, not the person. At least respect the rank. Not in this case, not me. Not when a provocateur in the guise of good takes full and clear advantage of a situation in order to bring the full weight of religion and God down upon an individual's head, when religion has little to do with it, but politics certainly does. Even that respect for rank or station has got to be thrown out, and I threw it out, certainly with regard to her. That bishop does nothing but demean religion, debase religion, insult God, and affirms to altogether way too many people that organized religion has no place in their everyday lives. Further, in consideration, I wonder what would have occurred had Biden, his family et al., been forced to listen quietly to a pastor who excoriated them all for abortions, for killing children, for butchering children, still receiving communion. What would happen if that had occurred on January the 21st of 2021? Would that pastor have been removed, harassed, received death threats, even arrested by the DOJ and FBI? Likely. So my tolerance for priests and pastors and bishops and fathers, whatever the name or the label, all makes and models of so-called religious leaders, has ended, done, gone. If you're sufficiently blinded or too ignorant to see that the forces of Democrats, leftists, globalists, socialists, communists, Islam aren't coming for you, aren't trying to eliminate you wholesale, then perhaps organized religion really doesn't deserve to survive in the Western venue. If you aren't speaking out in your churches, damn near every sermon, against these mighty forces arrayed against you, the time remaining for you to do so is in fact running out, even with this current administration. Because in 4 more years, the temper of the times will likely change again. This is it for Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head. He's not going to come back and save anybody. This is the final term. This is his final deal, his final shot. Because the deal is, even though you as political leaders, you may eschew politics, politics is always interested in you. So I refer people, you so-called religious people, who apparently aren't massively motivated to even defend or save yourselves, to a very telling quote that I've used any number of times in the past. And it's from another time in history, though not so long ago that anybody here should have forgotten it. And that's from Pastor Martin Niemöller, who said this in 1946. He said, first they came for the socialists. Now, I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And here's another quote, direct from history's archives, applicable to everybody in church leadership positions today. True then, true now, true always. Remember this? It's from George Santayana, who in 1905 said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So how condemned are you? And do you in fact have the capability to defend and save yourselves? Here's a final thought. Take this as you will, but it makes me wonder. Perhaps certain churches should lose their tax-exempt status? Because if they are this biased and irreligious, should they continue to exist? I thought long and hard about being here today and saying any of these things. And I decided that instead of being quiet, I'm going to say them because this is my show. Let's continue.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
There are still happy stories. Oh, wait, BZ. A happy story. Wait, are you talking about religion? Yes, I am. Remember what Socialist Popey said here recently, today and or yesterday? How awful, how mean is it? How judgmental, how spiteful it is to slam the doors in the faces of those needy people who are desperately trying to get into the United States of America. Here's a story. Do as I say, not as I do. Vatican cracks down on illegal entry into its territory. The Vatican is its own city. The Vatican City State has toughened sanctions for those who try to illegally enter its territory in areas where free access is not allowed. In a decree accessed, or issued, I should say, last month by the Holy See, Socialist Popey, the monetary sanctions and prison sentences for those who violate the strict security regulations of Vatican City have been considerably increased. The document, signed by Cardinal Fernando Verghese Alzaga, president of the Pontifical Commission for Vatican City State, provides for monetary fines ranging from 10,000 to 25,000 euros, about $10,000 to $25,000, and prison sentences ranging from 1 to 4 years. These fines will especially apply to those who enter by means of violence, threats, or deception, bypassing border controls or security systems. In addition, those who enter with expired permits or do not meet the established requirements will receive administrative sanctions. 2,000 to 5,000 euros. But that's okay. That's all right. Well, I told you that we're going to have some happy stories. I just got through with this one. Here's another happy story. The State Department has decided that it's going to block Pride BLM flags from embassies' outposts with a one flag policy, as in There's room for one flag here in the United States and our environs throughout all of the planet. Our embassies, there's room for one flag. The U.S. flag, the United States flag, that's the flag that we're going to be displaying. Now, BZ, you evil son of a bitch. Well, I told you, it's my show. So you knew that the first thing that was, why is this a happy story? Because I'm tired of this. Enough is enough. The first thing we knew the American media maggots were going to do is display photographs and video, especially of brown females crying. Folks, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't give a ragged shit if France is to our south, or Denmark, or the Netherlands, even though I love their vodka. It doesn't make any difference about their melanin count, their paint job. If those nations were on our southern border and doing the same thing, I would be just as excited about getting them out and keeping them out as I am any other persons. You come here lawfully, you come here legally, or you don't come here at all. The door is closed. We're full up. We're done with parasites. We're done with terrorists. We have enough cells on our own United States property. We have enough criminals, thank you. We're full up of all those assholes. So we don't need you, and we don't need any more. As far as I'm concerned, that's why this is a happy story. And you knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. The happy part of it is it's occurring. Just as Donald John Trump is doing exactly what we voted for him to do. Here's another happy story. The Bureau of Prisons director is out as Trump's Justice Department reform takes shape. Let me stop about this. The BOP was instrumental in making sure that a number of our J6 prisoners, though Trump gave many pardons, just had a little laissez-faire attitude about all of that, including people at the D.C. jail. Now, that's directly due to Mayor Muriel Bowser in D.C. deciding that she was going to fuck over and continue to fuck over as many of these J6 prisoners as she possibly could. And by God, she was certainly effective at that. But this is the last hi, howdy, fuck you to Trump. If she can do it, she's going to do it. And she's done it. Let me do this. I said this last show. Folks, do you know anybody? Are you a J6 defendant? Were you incarcerated? Have you served your time? Did you just get released? Are you going to get released shortly? Or maybe they've obstructed you. And would you like to relate your story? Maybe you've had enough of it. I'm done. I'm done with all this crap. I don't want to talk to anybody anymore. Cool. That's fine. Your prerogative. But I want to talk to you. I would like to talk to as many of you as possible so that people here understand just what happened to you. What was your plight? If you know somebody, if this is you, pass it on. Send the information to bz@shrmedia.com, bz@shrmedia.com, bz@shrmedia.com. I want to hear your story. Speaking of story, here's another happy story. The U.S. has massively halted arms shipments to Ukraine. The United States has withdrawn all applications for the transit of goods in the interests of Ukraine. All shipments of weapons and military equipment to Ukraine have been stopped at NATO bases in Europe. According to preliminary estimates, we are talking about several thousand tons of weapons and military equipment. All Pentagon employees involved in arms supplies to Kyiv have been fired or suspended, and rightly so. A large-scale audit of the misuse of funds for aid to Ukraine begins. That is a story that is essentially That's happy as hell. The other thing is because it's all been a giveaway program and we receive nothing in return, because that's what leftists, Democrats, and globalists do. They want to give things away, but in deals, they receive nothing in return. Weapons manufacturers have said that, you know what, in order to replenish at the current rate the weapons that we so gladly gave to Ukraine, probably going to take about another 18 years. Well, gee whiz, kids. What if we have some kind of some kind of funny little shenanigans that happen between now and then? Probably we're going to want some weapons. Will we be able to get them? Oh, sure, easily. Nothing is free. Except if you're on the receiving end of largesse from the United States of America, then of course it's free. Illegal invaders, free. The American taxpayer is footing the bill for every motherfucker on the planet who is a parasite and remoras off of our goodwill, our good name, and your taxpayer dollars. Here's another happy story. Coast Guard Commandant terminated over border lapses, recruitment, and DEI focus. So the Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard has been terminated over concerns about the border, recruitment, and erosion of trust. Imagine that. Admiral Linda Lee Fagan, 61, has been terminated by the Acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Benjamin Huffman. I'd say that's a happy story. Wouldn't you? DEI needs to DIE. It's as simple as that. It is no more complicated. Here's another happy story. Number of firearms in civilian possession tops 490 million. You want to come into anybody's home and try to remove them like you did in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, or like you did in 1996, Australia? I have a reply to that. And it goes in 5 words, and that's good fucking luck with that. Here's another happy story. CNN settles a lawsuit after a $5 million defamation verdict. CNN reached a legal settlement with a security contractor Friday, that's last Friday, after a Florida jury found the network had defamed him by suggesting he was charging exorbitant prices to evacuate people from Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal in August 2021. Here's something weird. I have a way to mitigate that. It's not the BZ axiom if-then equation, but, well, it kind of is. And it goes like this, CNN, because I need to tell you, you're dying on the vine. Thank God. Oh, wait, I have another wonderful CNN story to regale to you from Nate Rudd, who was kind enough to send it to me earlier. CNN, I created a new channel, and I think I've told you this before. It's the Parakeet Training Record channel. And now I'm getting more hits on that channel. You can pick it up on Dish than CNN and MSNBC combined, because leftist media is moribund. That means that it is in a dying state. And that's only a good thing. That's, in fact, a happy story. Here's another happy story, because you know what? The title of this show is Winning Like Never Before. Enjoy it. Regale in the inauguration. Regale in President Donald John Trump getting sworn in. This is your time. This is my time. This is our time. Because the fight, as I'm about to illustrate after the break, the fight is only just starting. So enjoy it while you can. But another happy story. Google tells the European Union fact-checking simply isn't appropriate. Wait a minute. Is this Alphabet standing up for itself, standing up for Google, because they've been slapped down, and there's a new sheriff in town, and they realize what side of the bread, the butter exists, And my God, if it falls on the floor, what if it's butter side down? It won't taste any good with all the dog crap and the gravel on it. Imagine that. We're winning. We're winning a lot. So if you want to call back, anybody wants to call after the break, you're certainly welcome to. I'm BZ. We'll be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Welcome to Reaver of Common Sense, where we cut through the noise of news and politics with a sharp wit and clear discussion. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a refreshing dose of reality as we fearlessly tackle the tough topics with no nonsense, just pure common sense. Visit shrmedia.com to discover where you can catch Reaver of Common Sense in action. He's here to amplify your inner logic. He may not always be polite, he may not always be refined, but one thing's for sure, he always tells it like it is.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. I am the aforementioned BZ, one each, thank God. Thank you so kindly for watching live tonight from a veritable ton of places with our good friends at KLRN. Thank you for watching later in podcast. And thanks for being in the chat room tonight. I appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel. Do all that kind of good stuff because you realize, of course, I've said this before, but it's still true. If you subscribe to either Rumble, the Rumble channel where I'm on, or you subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel, I get a lowly arboreal animal of my choice or a used oil filter from a 1979, I think it was. That was my preferred choice. 1979 Kenworth 359. And, of course, more vodka. More vodka is always good. The phone lines are open, 835-3329, 916-835-3329. And just in case you weren't sure what we were doing, we're going to continue with this.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's a continuation of a happy story where President Trump slapped the crap by way of a video feed out of the sides of the heads of those in Davos in the World Economic Forum, all those lovely little globalists. Go.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply, you will have to pay a tariff. differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA.
And Samsung, by the way, it shouldn't surprise anybody. Samsung is coming back, as I indicated earlier. Samsung and LG are coming back, as I indicated earlier. Here's something that I bet a lot of people didn't see, though. Let me see if I can put it up here. This is from Daily Wire, dailywire.com. See, people call it payback or retribution or revenge, PRR. I don't look at it as any of those things. I consider it to be simply justice. Same thing that was done to us, we should do to others. It's that simple. Database to publicize who hires Biden's appointees after Trump staff were blackballed. Anybody remember that? Because I sure do. A new database will track the careers of former Biden appointees, potentially putting companies who hire Democrats out in the cold with the Trump administration, as well it should be. As far as I'm concerned, that's a happy, snappy, rappy, happy story. Here's another happy story. China is making signals like it's ready to open a deal for keeping TikTok in the U.S. Wait a minute. Didn't everybody say, no, China's not going to do that? There's no way that China is going to do that. They're not going to be that conciliatory. Here's another happy story with regard to J6 prisoners.
First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research.
Let me stop right here. If you did not watch or listen my last Thursday night show a week ago with Suzanne Monk, please go back and watch that show. She had the J6 project, which she and many other volunteers, their sole job was to make sure that the transition from jail or prison was as smooth as possible and have people in a positive mindset waiting to help them the moment they got out of jail. Food, money, lodging, shelter, things that they certainly couldn't arrange for themselves, family members, friends. All of that had to be arranged. Please watch last Thursday's show with Suzanne Monk. It was a project, and she was the coordinator of it all. What an amazing woman, and God bless her for having done that.
Nice to see you again.
Done.
This is a big one.
And done.
Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. We're expecting it.
But the sad thing is they didn't, did they? No. There were other elements in league with the evil individuals, and they obstructed as much as they possibly could. Here's an adjunct story. Trump pardons almost all involved in the January 6th riot, commutes remaining 14 sentences. Some people had to have all of this acted on as soon as possible because they were about to serve time. They were told that they had to report to prison very soon. So they were helped. They were spared as best they could. Here's another one that I think is wonderful. Trump determined that we're going to step out of the World Health Organization. Holy crap, is that a happy story?
They rigged it. It was a rigged deal. And when you do that, they look very bad. But I was a little surprised they did it. Liz Cheney, I mean, she's a lunatic. And she lost by the greatest margin in the history of
a politician running for Congress.
Certainly in Montana.
Like 40 points. The reason it was the greatest is because anybody losing that badly is going to drop out. But she's a nut job. She doesn't drop out. You know, she just keeps chugging forward. And she lost by almost 40 points. That's the biggest number anybody's ever lost by. But why would Biden do that? He pardoned her and pardoned everybody. The reason is that they destroyed documents. And if you're even in a civil case, which this wouldn't be, I mean, people go to jail for a long time for doing that. What's this one?
That's unleashing American energy, sir. It relates to easing permitting processes and other regulatory systems to ensure that we can produce energy efficiently to drive the American economy forward.
You know, something pro-America as opposed to something negative America. Because actual Americans, as far as the Biden regime was concerned, actual Americans can go to hell. Here's another positive thing. The Senate passed the Laken-Riley immigration bill. This is interesting. Some people have said there's a change about to occur. 12 Democrats who voted yes in the Senate. Cortez, Nevada; Gallego, Arizona; Hassan, North Hampshire; Mark Kelly, AZ, Arizona; Ossoff, Georgia, and so on. In there is Fetterman. John Fetterman is a unique cat. John Fetterman was kind of a loon. And then a couple of things happened to John Fetterman. Now, whether this had a direct result on him as getting shot and almost killed back in June of last year affected Donald John Trump, perhaps it did. I don't know for certain. John Fetterman had a stroke. Then he had to try to come back from that. Then he decided that he was going to commit himself to Walter Reed Hospital for mental issues and problems. Fetterman has said, and damn him for saying it, that he was willing to talk to Trump. Fetterman is making really strange moves as far as the Democrats are concerned. Jeremy Hansen is in chat, and he says, hey, my kids asked me to watch a movie. It was great. Hunger Games #4. Fantastic. And Jeremy Hansen also says, hey, thank God, no more World Health Organization. Agreed. Fetterman, however, up here, there's a story going around, and I have not seen it verified, but I'm wondering, indicating that Fetterman may decide that he's going to put an R behind his name instead of a D. Very strange, unique times, I say indeed. Here's the other story that I said I would have for you about CNN. Jim Acosta is offended. He is offended, I tell you. Yea, verily and forsooth, Jim Acosta may exit CNN rather than accept a move to graveyard. Says a report. He's threatening to quit CNN rather than accept a reassigned time slot that would see him move from late mornings to the graveyard shift, according to a report. His days may be numbered. As the former White House correspondent known for his combative coverage of President Trump could be heading for the exits rather than accept a move that would see him denigrated horribly. You can't do this to the Acosta. The Acosta is better than this. The Acosta will not put up with this. I can only hope that the Acosta will not put up with that, because their rankings and ratings are lower than, let's see, what did Joe Wambaugh say in one of his novels? That something he compared, it was lower than whale shit. So I would say Acosta's ratings and CNN's general overall ratings are lower than whale shit. So here's another wonderful. Enjoy it, folks. Enjoy it. Trump grants pardons to peaceful pro-life protesters prosecuted by the Biden DOJ over exercising their First Amendment rights because DOJ made it a felony to sit in front of an abortion center and sing a song. Donald?
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people.
That's true.
They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this.
And there it is, done. How many people of Antifa, how many people were prosecuted by local, state, and federal officials from the entire wide-ranging 2020 riots? When it was fine, when masked people created roughly multiple billions of dollars of damage, 25 people were killed, literally thousands of law enforcement officers were seriously injured, lasers pointed in their eyes, federal law enforcement officials trying to save jails, federal jails, and also entire stations from police departments were burned to the ground, ripped apart. Very few people went to jail, but that's not violence, BZ. Those were peaceful protests. All of 2020 was nothing but one big old peaceful protest, wasn't it? Here's another happy story. Hey, wasn't I just talking about Planned Parenthood? Oh no. This person from Planned Parenthood has passed away. How sad. Here's another story. Mitch McConnell is in. Fox News reports on ex-host Pete Hegseth clearing key vote ahead of likely confirmation. Now, I indicated that it would probably be 3 people who would attempt to block Hegseth. Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Some of them came around, but we had to essentially have all the Republicans weigh in order to have Pete Hegseth. I believe we've pretty much got Pete Hegseth. Once we get Pete Hegseth, then I believe the rest of the people that are going to be controversial, shall we say, I think they will be easier. So I want to make this programming note. I got about 12 more minutes before the end of the story, before the end of the show. Next Tuesday night, I'm going to have Mike Fitzpatrick on to talk to us about some more cybersecurity news. Much of it has to do with China. And then also next week, look for this. These 3 nominations are coming up in hearings. And the massive contretemps and pearl clutching and breast beating will be massive for all of these. Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and RFK Jr. You can be guaranteed that there's going to be thunder and lightning and at any and every hearing about that. And Jeremy Hansen says, I want Hegseth, Patel, and Kennedy. And Phoenix Exploration, whatever the heck that is, welcome, says hello. Well, I always like people who are kind and say hello. Let's continue with the winning, so to speak, and some things that I should care to point out to you. First, hey, what about, and I think I'm going to have time for the second story after this one. What about all those preemptive pardons that people were talking about that Biden gave to people that apparently had committed no crime? So why were they preemptively pardoned at all? Well, there's precedent involved in more closely examining those pardons. It's Burdick versus U.S. 263 U.S. 79, 1915 was a case in which the Supreme Court of the United States held that a pardoned person must introduce the pardon into court proceedings, otherwise that pardon is considered a private matter, unknown to and unable to be acted upon by the court. Rand Paul, take it away.
This is something you've been concerned about for a long time. I want to flash back 4 years to this particularly tense exchange that you had with the then director of the National Institutes for Allergy and Infectious Disease, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
You're fooling with Mother Nature here. You're allowing super viruses to be created with a 15% mortality. It's very dangerous. I think it was a huge mistake to share this with China, and it's a huge mistake to allow this to continue in the United States.
Again, we have not funded gain-of-function research on this virus in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, no matter how
it went through any number of secondary and third and fourth hand individuals and organizations so that he could state that he was not responsible for it, but all these various organizational and bureaucratic machinations were.
Words, you're
you say it,
there was research.
You have said that Fauci should go to prison over his dishonesty regarding the COVID-19 virus and the gain-of-function research. But, Senator, he is now protected by a preemptive presidential pardon.
Is it?
History is going to judge him harshly. By accepting that pardon through Supreme Court precedents, he's actually accepting his guilt. So he's accepting culpability. He made the decision to bypass and to avoid the safety committee to fund this without adequate review of its safety. He made a terrible decision, but you have to realize it wasn't a one-off. For over a decade, Anthony Fauci had said that the risks of a pandemic occurring were worth the benefit of the knowledge.
Stop. So why did this preemptive pardon go not through, 2022, 2023, 2020? Why did it go all the way back? He's covered through that preemptive pardon to 2014. What kind of shit was he pulling in 2014 that they made? Oh, they decided, well, he needs cover all the way back then.
Most other scientists disagree with that. But the idea that we could do anything to any virus, and if it escapes, oh, well, whoops, too bad, the knowledge is worth it. It's not. There are viruses that could kill 50% of humanity. We should not be trying to aerosolize
Ebola, Marburg,
Ebola, or aerosolize the avian flu, or make it easier to transmit the avian flu among humans. Right now, our biggest benefit is the avian flu can get into humans, but it's not going human to human. If you were to work in a lab with the avian flu, you can probably make the virus go to human with intended or intentional mutations. That would be a disaster. And anybody who wants to do that in the lab should never be funded by the taxpayer. So Anthony Fauci was wrong about all this, and
they're a potential serial killer. Why would you want to weaponize that unless there might be a payday at the end of it for you? Well, wait. Oh, I might have some room for some more stories after that. Didn't the Democrats all say preemptive pardons are okay when we do it? So they've been for preemptive pardons all along then. That would be correct, right?
The president seems intent on filling each of his remaining days in office with petulance, grievance, self-interest. The president's reportedly asking his staff about whether he can whether he can issue. President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority. The president seems intent on filling...
But that was a question. He didn't do it, did he? And the answer is no, he didn't. So for Chuck Schumer, bad. Preemptive pardons, bad, depending on the recipient. Preemptive pardons, okay, if somebody else does it. Funny how that works out. Would you not say? I'm not going to have time for LA. But I want to tell you this. And I want to show you this. If you think everything is rosy, everything is not. If you think that Democrats, leftists, and globalists are not working full-time against you right now, you would be absolutely wrong. So, political appointees, obviously, were scrambling to secure cozy civil service jobs in the federal bureaucracy before President Donald Trump's team arrived. This maneuver is called burrowing in. And it isn't a mere bureaucratic formality. It's one of the very tactics that allowed Obama-era officials to undermine Trump's first term from within. Thanks to lax oversight, committed partisan activists are once again looking to stand in opposition to Trump's first agenda. They are burrowing in. And America being first, that don't cut it with them. America cannot be first as far as they're concerned. Also, don't think that the corporations are going, oh, this is wonderful. This is great. CEOs launch war rooms, hotlines to cope with Trump's order blitz. Executive orders bring promised changes and surprising risks for business leaders. JP Morgan Chase set up a war room. Now, why would they set up a war room? Gee, retired General Mark Milley left, and then he decided that he was going to embiggen his wallet. He's sitting on the JP Morgan Chase board as a consultant. What does he have? He has a very high top secret security clearance, for sale. Now, why has he hitched his star to JP Morgan Chase? Because JP Morgan Chase, in concert with BlackRock, has an idea that they're going to go to Ukraine and rebuild Ukraine, their own little private Marshall Plan. Now, do you think that BlackRock or JP Morgan Chase would throw a penny at a piece of shit country, Biden's laundromat, everyone's laundromat in the EU, having pissed away all of your hardworking taxpayer dollars? Anybody think that BlackRock would invest anything, or JP Morgan Chase, if there wasn't a massive amount of payback available on the back end? And the answer is, of course. So don't think that this stuff is going to be fun. Let me see if I can find the story. Oh, here's another story. Who's still profiting? Nancy Pelosi is still profiting. Insider trading. Hey, that's my opinion. My show, I get to say it. Nancy Pelosi makes significant trades in Nvidia, Alphabet, Amazon, and Apple stocks. She's not in charge, but she's still in charge, and wants you to know that she's still in charge of all the insider trading that she can possibly withstand. Let me see if I have this one story. Darn it. I can't find it. Well, that's all right. It's time to go anyway. Here we go. This is from Jeremy Hansen. BlackRock holds 90% of all the Democrats' retirement funds. Well, that's kind of weird. BlackRock is the new Vegas for corrupt investment. Wouldn't you say? I would say. Thanks for being here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network, on Rumble, on the SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, and the grandiose KLRN, and tons of other bulbous podcast locales. It's great, and I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. As per normal, promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. Also by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, my Arrakis board, the Arrakis Company, and of course, Pratt & Whitney engines producing thrust. You can trust. Tiaras normally are by My Little Pony. Tonight, they're still by My Little Pony. And of course, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team with whom I shall be consorting at the end of this show, a mere 25 to 30 feet away from the door to the studio. Thanks to everybody being here tonight. Thanks for being in chat. Thanks for listening later in podcast. Everybody, I'll be back next Tuesday. God bless. Take care. You be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night and good luck.